What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Cam, the sports guy. And hey, man, I'm here with another one. In this video, we gonna talk about Jaylen Brown. Now, we gotta address the elephant in the room, Celtics fans. We got to address what's been going on these last couple weeks. Obviously, ever since the Celtics got eliminated, it's been a lot of things that's been going on. Jaylen Brown going back and forth with Stephen A, him saying stuff on his podcast. Hey, it's just been too much going on, to be quite honest with you. But nonetheless, it's time to talk about Jaylen Brown. Now, you guys already know on Monday, the Boston Celtics lost and missed out on the Giannis sweepstakes as he was traded to the Miami Heat instead. And a lot of you guys know by now that Jaylen Brown was offered in the package. And so obviously now that he hasn't, now that they didn't, now that Brad Stevens, my goodness, now that Brad Stevens didn't land Giannis, a lot of people are talking about should Jaylen Brown want out, and if he is going to still eventually get traded. Now, my whole take on this is, now I understand it may be very frustrating to Jaylen Brown knowing that you were in trade talks in 2022 for a potential move of Kevin Durant, and in 2020, sits for Giannis. Now, there is a difference between the two. In 2022, I mean, this was, I want to say it was coming off of the finals run, or the year before the year before we made the finals run. He was in offers. He was a different player back then. Obviously not the player that he is in, and not the player that he is now. I don't want to say he wasn't proven yet, because we hadn't made a finals or anything, but a lot of people was calling to break us up because of how talented we were, and we had not yet made a finals appearance. But after having the best season of your career, being in trade talks is not ideal. Now, I understand, you can look at it as a positive of, he's not on trade discussions and not in the trade market for a scrub, because Giannis is Giannis. Whenever you have Giannis available, you have to listen to that call if they say we want Jaylen Brown. You know what I'm saying? I think Jaylen Brown understands that. He is a business-minded person. He seems like he understands business. He's very intellectual, very smart. So I definitely think he understands that. That doesn't mean that he's okay with that. Now, Brad Stevens did get on his presser last night after the first round, talking about how he loves Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is on his team. He wants to keep Jaylen Brown. He can see the Jays winning another championship. Now, I can definitely see the Jays winning another championship without a shadow of a doubt. But, obviously the elephant's still going to be on the room of what's going to happen. And I've been seeing rumors every single day, new rumors every day. Well, when Shams said it's not a rumor, but they talked about how the Celtics were listening. They was not actively shopping him, but they are listening to calls, which is understandable, just to see what you can get out of him. And I seen earlier this morning they talking about his interest about moving him for Evan Mobley. Now, I don't think that will happen, and I don't want that to happen, because that just doesn't make the Celtics team better. Whenever there's not a player like Giannis out on the market, Giannis is really the only type of player that you would trade Jaylen Brown for, that's available at this time. That was available at the time. Now that Giannis isn't available, there's not many players that you're trading Jaylen Brown for. Jaylen Brown was a top 10 player in the NBA this season, arguably top 5. I thought he should have made the All NBA first team, but you guys know the politics that go on behind that. So it's definitely, like I was saying, not ideal for you to be in trade talks after that. Now, do I believe Jaylen Brown will be traded? No. And the reason why I don't believe Jaylen Brown will be traded is, not only is he under contract for 3 years, I feel like Jaylen Brown, he already knows year in and year out. Even though it is a sad reality, it's either he's going to be put in trade, fans are going to put him in trade conversations, or, if a big name pops up, he knows that if they have any, desire to want to play for the Celtics, he knows that his name is more than likely going to be brought up. And he already addressed it on his Twitch stream when it was still undecided on if Giannis was going to go to the Celtics or the Heat. It was really looking like he was going to go to the Celtics, y'all. Like, if you guys were following on social media, it really looked like he was going to Boston. But you had to give credit for the Bucks because, like I have been saying over and over, the Heat overcompensated and they gave the Bucks the best offer and the Bucks took the best offer. So you can't be too mad at that. But he already said on his stream, for all the ones that keep trying to trade me, you're just gonna keep, making me a monster. And that's the thing. Jaylen Brown, he continues to provide and put in the work in his craft. I definitely can relate to him and understand him of, how he puts in a lot of work into his craft, and a lot of people still appreciate it. So I can definitely understand that and in that aspect, and that's why I am a supporter of Jaylen Brown, not only just because he's on, the Boston Celtics, but he definitely embodies continuing to keep your head down, put your head down and work regardless of what people say about you, and just becoming undeniable. He definitely has become undeniable. He's the 2024 Finals MVP. Regardless of if you think he should have that MVP over Tatum or not, Jaylen Brown is definitely a future Hall of Famer, and he should get that jersey retired with the Boston Celtics. I know a lot of Celtics fans, for some reason, a lot of Celtics fans don't like Jaylen Brown, and I don't understand that. Yeah, he has his flaws, and I'm like, what are you doing? But every player has that, and every player has that on your favorite team. So I support Jaylen Brown 100%. I don't want to see him go. Is there a possibility that he could still get traded and go? Obviously, like that's without a doubt. Of course that can happen, especially if he wants out. But I think all in all, even though Jaylen Brown may be upset and he's like, dang, again, I'm in trade talks again, I really feel like he understands. Brad Stevens talked about how he kept in contact with Jaylen Brown and his agent, and how he always has conversations with him. And Brad Stevens seems to, emphasize on being very transparent and having conversations with Jaylen Brown, so he's not blindsided by anything. And so I think when it comes to, them having to repair the relationship, because obviously that's going to have to happen. The relationship is going to have to be repaired, especially within the next 3 seasons, because Jaylen Brown, I'm pretty sure he would happily take his own team, but he also likes playing in Boston as well. And so I feel like that's very important for Brad Stevens and Jaylen Brown to continue to, have those conversations, piece what they got to piece together. Obviously, we know Brad Stevens was coaching Jaylen Brown. He's his second OG. Obviously, he traded his first OG away with Marcus Smart, but Brad Stevens knows, that he wants to make this team, the best that it can possibly be. And obviously in this situation, he felt like Giannis would have helped out massively, because a lot of people were saying Giannis is the better player and he can get to the rim and provide you a different look with, him attacking the rim, and JT and the rest of the guys attacking the perimeter and getting mid ranges, and JT also attacking the rim here and there as well. But all in all, we both know, and we all know, that the Celtics are at a better place and in a better place whenever they have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum at the helm. And I feel like that's going to continue to happen until it can't happen no more. And as a Celtics fan, I'm going to enjoy every single bit of it. But hey, man, y'all let me know what y'all think. That's it for this one. And as always, y'all know what I'm going to say. Y'all have a blessed one, and I'll see y'all in the next one.